Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack the story of a generation that honestly feels like they've been dropped right into the middle of a battlefield, Generation Z. We're pulling together data from sociologists, economists, and faith leaders to really understand their epic struggles. We're looking at everything from the structural conflicts they fight on a daily basis to their ultimate search for redemption, love, and a genuine sense of peace.
I want you to put yourself in their shoes for a second. Seriously, what does it mean to come of age in a world where you have infinite choices, but also unending conflict and pressure? Just imagine graduating into a post-pandemic landscape, right? You're constantly bombarded by 24/7 digital crisis cycles, and you're stepping into an economy that kind of feels rigged against you from the start. It is a relentless, chaotic environment of unprecedented stressors.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover 1, the weight on Gen Z, 2, economic and climate realities, 3, the mental health toll, 4, shifting the workplace, 5, a search for meaning, and 6, empathy, grace, and support.
Let's start with Section 1, the weight on Gen Z. According to data from Powers Counseling, Gen Z is essentially fighting battles across 6 distinct fronts. We're seeing intense economic instability clashing with this hyper-connected digital dependency. Add to that a profound identity pressure, where just being authentic has turned into this exhausting public performance, and top it off with serious climate anxiety and career overwhelm. Rather than a clear path forward, they're navigating a maze of infinite choices with absolutely zero guarantees.
Moving to Section 2, economic and climate realities.
Data from the New York City Comptroller's Office totally shatters a lot of the generational myths we hear. For previous generations, the journey was relatively straightforward, right? Median incomes actually rose in alignment with housing costs. But for Gen Z, that path is completely destroyed. Rental costs have entirely outpaced income growth. So structurally speaking, Gen Z is carrying a rent burden that is significantly heavier than what millennials or boomers faced at the exact same age. And then you have to add the heavy chains of student debt. Data from Empower shows that over half of undergraduates are finishing college with debt. And for many Gen Z borrowers, those monthly payments exceed $500. I mean, that is a massive structural roadblock right out of the gate. At least 61% of Gen Z borrowers dealing with serious stress and anxiety that is directly tied to this financial weight. But the conflict isn't just financial, is it? It's existential. A major survey published in PNAS reveals that U.S. youth are deeply struggling with the reality of climate change. Self-reported direct exposure to climate events significantly spikes their eco-anxiety. And this isn't just a fleeting worry. The dread of an unstable world is actively altering their major life plans, everything from career choices to whether they're even going to start families.
Section 3, the mental health toll. This brings us to the battlefield of the heart. The Institute for Family Studies notes that 70% of youth engage in uncommitted sex. But psychoanalyst Erica Komisar points out something absolutely crucial here. She says this culture distorts the genuine hope for love into just a fleeting, disconnected moment. Instead of building enduring bonds, this culture of transient encounters is leaving behind a wake of regret, profound emotional emptiness, and actually heightens symptoms of depression.
The emotional scars here run incredibly deep. Data shows 1 in 5 adolescents will not leave childhood without developing a serious mental health disorder. Researchers link a lot of this back to fractured early attachments and family instability. When you're surrounded by high divorce rates, an increasing number of Gen Z become deeply pessimistic about the idea of lasting romantic love. They're desperate for true connection, if they really struggle to trust that it even exists.
Section 4, shifting the workplace.
Now, one thing is for sure, this generation refuses to just suffer in silence. According to a national study by the Center for Generational Kinetics, a staggering 47% of working Gen Z have already quit a job specifically because they lacked trust in company leadership. Let that sink in. Nearly half of this generation will gladly walk away from the battlefield if the culture feels broken, toxic, or inauthentic. They're completely rewriting the rules, seeking out safe harbors over pure profit. Get this. 45% of Gen Z would literally take a 10% pay cut just to work for a leader they truly trust. And a massive 82% demand that their companies prioritize mental health benefits. For them, workplace flexibility and support aren't just nice little perks. They are vital armor for surviving in a highly stressful world.
Section 5, a search for meaning.
So, amidst all this chaos, where do they go to find grounding? Well, data from the American Bible Society reveals an incredibly nuanced faith landscape. While 46% say they've committed their lives to Jesus, only about 12.5% are considered practicing Christians who attend regular services. So there's this massive, fascinating gap between their personal, internal spiritual commitments and traditional institutional practice.
Yet despite lower church attendance, Gen Z actually leads all adult generations when it comes to spiritual curiosity, with 55% wanting to know more about Jesus. The American Bible Society highlights that in this era of immense conflict, Gen Z is actively searching for true purpose and redemption. And the data is pretty striking. It suggests that those who do anchor themselves in faith and scripture report finding a genuine freedom and a deep peace that cuts right through the anxiety of the modern world.
And finally, Section 6, Empathy, Grace, and Support. Faith leaders are calling for a radical shift in how we respond to all of this. This excerpt from a USCCB prayer echoing Pope Francis beautifully lays out the mission. It is a direct call to action to continue to pray for this generation, to accompany them, and to journey together through the chaos. It's a powerful plea to older generations to meet these unique, intense challenges with profound grace and empathy, rather than judgment.
We've seen the economic battlegrounds, the existential climate fears, and their profound search for true love, meaning, and redemption. Generation Z is navigating an incredibly turbulent, epic journey. So, the ultimate question left for the rest of us is this: are we prepared to lay down our criticisms and instead meet them with the unyielding grace, prayer, and understanding they need to finally find peace? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I hope you keep exploring these crucial dynamics.